don't physically harm people or yourself, but what are you saying on Twitter?
Yeah.
Why are you saying that? What are you doing in response to someone who cuts you off in traffic? How do you show up for your family? I think there's that element to it that is really vital for people to recognize. And then
those things, not to cut you off, sorry, but like those things of like the actions you're taking, I think have such a strong impact on how you perceive things and how you like receive things as well.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you're not getting mad at people in traffic for cutting you off, like you're probably more likely to also not get that same stress response when somebody else cuts you off. You'd be like, well, that person they're doing what they need to do. We didn't get in an accident. We can keep going along with my day.
Move on. Yeah, it doesn't become this patterned response. And the brain loves patterns, right? So the brain is constantly finding ways to cut corners and create ease. And sometimes that's a really great thing and efficient, but then other times, like, we do get in these feedback loops where X equals Y, and that's how I play this out, whereas if we just take a different look at it, or if we stop and we pause and we calm our nervous system before we jump into that fight or flight, it can do a lot of wonders for how you move out like throughout your day, I guess. But another one is like asteya, which is non-stealing, and same, I'm not going to steal your microphone or your computer, of course, your tangible belongings, but I also won't steal your time or your energy. And I recognize that boundaries are really vital, and conscious connections with people, and being mindful of abusive tendencies, or how you I guess teach people how to treat you also, so there's
that one that you just touched on, I think is so important, right? Is people, I've had times in my life where I've looked at people and I'm like, this person is so toxic, but when you really look at it, you're like, I've allowed them to create that. Like that's my ownership, stepping forwards and saying like, I've allowed this, I've let this happen, or I've created this, in a sense of like, well, you talk about people pleasing and stuff like that. That's definitely something that's come up in my life where I've realized like I've very much been a people pleaser for a lot of my life, and that allows a lot of that toxicness to come into my life, where I let that friend complain all the time to me, and I try and help them and stuff like that, when really like I can't handle that right now, or something like that. I think a lot of that's like taking control of that. So glad you touched on that for sure.
Well, and